Hey, what's going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and today we are going to be working on this Xbox right here. We're going to be doing a bit of a upgrade, just a little upgrade, so to speak. Now, I just want to say, a lot of this stuff I have never done. This system is pre-modded. The only thing I'm going to be doing here that I have done before is I will be upgrading this from an IDE drive to a SATA drive. Aside from that, though, all the stuff is going to be like first-time Xbox modifications for me. So let's go ahead and get into this, and I'll run through what I'm going to do first off, just so you all have an idea of what to expect in this video. First off, I'm going to be removing this jewel from the console. I'll be replacing the thermal paste underneath the heat sinks for the CPU and the GPU. I'll be replacing the IDE cable because that is actually a necessity if we want to upgrade the hard drive. I'll upgrade the hard drive, put in a IDE to SATA adapter. We're going to be installing a little LED pack that we have right here. It's probably a bit overpriced, but whatever, I want to try it out. And also, we're going to be putting on a ghost case here. So, this is not going to be a full case modification. This is going to, well, I'll even show you. The bottom of the case is going to remain the same, as is the back right here. But the front plate, I guess you can, the front panel, that's what it's called. I almost always call it faceplate, but it's not a faceplate on this. The front panel and the top of the console are going to be changed up. So I'm actually interested to see what they are here and how they are, like build quality wise and everything. So they are inside of this box. But let's go ahead and first start opening up this console right here. Just for the record as well, this console has been already modified by myself. It is a 1.0 Xbox. It has been TSOT flashed. The clock capacitor has been removed on here. System's been cleaned at least to, you know, my abilities on here. And it's been flashed with, of course, since it's it's a TSOP system, it's been flashed with custom BIOS, but it actually has a 1 megabyte custom Executor 3 BIOS. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit here if y'all will let me. But some people might be saying, well, no, that's impossible, you can't do that, whatever it is, it's too big, or it doesn't, that's what she said, or, you know, that doesn't exist. Actually, funny enough, on the 1.0 and 1.1 Xboxes, as I understand, they have a 1 megabyte TSOP on them, so you can actually flash a BIOS up to 1 megabyte. And then the Executor 3 BIOS that I mentioned, the one that's been custom made, is pretty new by definition. Of course, Executor 3 is old at this point, but a friend of mine and someone who's, you know, he's on YouTube and he's active in my Discord server, Dark Gabs, he actually worked on a custom-made 1 megabyte version of the Executor 3 BIOS. Just letting you all know, it's not going to be anything that is worth, you know, saying, hey, I can ditch my old Executor 3 and just use this BIOS. It's a really cool proof of concept. It's awesome that it works, but it does not give you the full compatibility that a true Executor 3 chip would give you. So I more have it on here as, I guess, a novelty BIOS, I guess you could say, if anything. But yeah, no, it's still interesting nonetheless that you can pop it on here. If you want something with more customization, then you might want to go with END or IND BIOS, or what was the other one? Like an Executor 2 BIOS that's custom made for TSOT flashes. But the Executor 3 one on here, it's mostly cool to have, but as I said, it's not going to give you the full functionality of a Executor 3 chip, unfortunately. Alright, so I've removed all the bottom screws right here. Let me go ahead and remove the top of the case. Come on. And there we go. So that is our custom 250 gigabyte drive that I'll be upgrading to a terabyte. And that is my DVD drive right here. I believe it is a Thomson. Yeah, the worst of the bunch. But, I mean, this one works well enough at least. Now, funny enough, what I'm actually going to be doing right here is I'm going to set this up to get removed. Because my case does not have a jewel on it. So I want to transfer this over. I'm not going to clear it off or anything. I'm just going, like, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this green as is. And then, hopefully, you know, the green LEDs here will illuminate. But aside from all that, I'm actually going to be freezing this thing. Some people might think I'm a bit crazy, but funny enough, I did not know about this. I found this in a YouTube comment, and then I was able to confirm it on other places. But you can use heat to take this off, or you can use a freezer, like literally freeze just the top part of the case here, and then it's pretty easy to remove this. I've never done that before. I honestly want to give it a try, so This is going to go in my freezer next to all the meat and all the other things that I got in there. You all think I might be joking, but no, I did move the ice cubes because, I mean, this thing is dirty and I don't want all the dirty nastiness to get all over the ice cubes that are exposed. Everything else is closed up. But yeah, real talk, no, this is going in the freezer. So let's close it up and freeze it up. All right, next up, what I'm going to do here is take apart the rest of the system. So I'll just strip this down as best I can. And one thing I am excited about with replacing this is I noticed this the other night. My front panel is a bit damaged right here, as you can see. So this is actually the optimal system to do this all on. I picked this because it's a 1.0 Xbox and has a 1 megabyte TSOP, which is nice. Compared to the other ones that have, you know, a 200, well, they're compatible with 256K BIOS if you flashed over. So the 1 megabyte gives you a little bit more freedom to do whatever. As I said, you know, the custom Executor 3 BIOS on there. But this front panel somehow got damaged, which I was really disappointed with. So, it's great because we're going to be replacing it anyways. It works out well enough. What's up, Lily? It's my dog in the background, just chilling. Alright, so there we go. These two have been removed, so let's see what we need to change here. Interesting. Alright, so this is actually the first time I've really taken a good look at this motherboard right here. I mean, yeah, I've had to do the cap removal and all that, but I did a case swap the other night here, and it's interesting that this, it looks like the power and eject buttons are hooked up directly to the motherboard, but for the controller ports, instead of them being hooked up directly to the motherboard, they are hooked up to a little device right here, like a little PCB, and then that PCB is plugged into the motherboard. And later revisions, they just hook straight into the motherboard right there. So, interesting enough. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and rip the rest of this out. I probably don't need to take everything out, but I'm going to just to make it a little bit easier. So, let's start getting rid of these things here. Alright, so there we go. Looks like the power supply is out, and that has been tangled through the controller board. There we go. So no more power supply. And here we go. We can unhook that. And I already removed the screws on these. So let me remove these controller ports. And I will show you all for anybody who has not seen these before, or just who hasn't opened up one of these older consoles. And older as in 1.0 and 1.1 revisions. Alright, so there we go. That is what we're looking at. So again, these normally just hook directly into the motherboard on later revisions, but right here, because they did not do that, yeah, no, instead of doing that, they just ended up, because it looks like they just have female plugs right there. These just plug into this PCB just slots in there. I mean, it's smart for what it is, so neat. I just haven't, you know, really paid attention to that before. Alright, so that's all out. Let's work on now getting the motherboard out of here. Actually, before I'll do that, I'll just see if we can get this out at all by hand. It looks like I don't need to unscrew this, so let's see how this all works here. Okay, so it seems like I've loosened this, but I need to get the black bar out of here. I need to make sure I also don't break that either. Alright, I had to finagle with that a little bit and get it out of there. But there we go. Alright, so that is what it's looking like. That's just, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but that's just, you know, old thermal paste. I'll go ahead and clean it off the heatsink here and also off of this. And let's also do the same thing with this little piece here. And I'm having to borrow this from my girlfriend here, but I took her hair dryer because I'm going to just heat this up for about 30 seconds or a minute. I'm just going to run this on warm because there is a lot of thermal paste on this chip right here. So this thing is not moving. I should have run the system for like 10 minutes or so before I did this, but forgot to do it. It's too late, and I don't want to turn it on right now because this thing will fry if I turn this on as is. So give me a minute. Alright, just did that for about 40 seconds there. I don't really want to do too much else because, you know, there's all these other capacitors here. I just don't feel like doing a capacitor upgrade today, and there we go. Alright, that actually, damn, that hurt a little bit. Not gonna lie. So there, that's what I had to heat it all up. Delicious. Alright, I'm gonna need to get a hold of some Q-tips and everything else to get this all cleaned up here. But I do have the, not necessities, but things that at least help out with the process. I'm going to be using, I'll show you all, some art to clean. I got the remover, I got the purifier, and I got the thermal paste. So we're going to go in and just redo this here. So for these two pieces, it will be easy enough to clean them. All I need to do is take my remover, dab a little bit on there, really just let it sit at this point. It's actually more than what I need, but oh well. Alright. What I do sometimes, I kind of just spread it out like so. And there. I'll just let it sit there for, really the longer you let it sit, the better of a result you're going to get. And with this, I'm covering more of an area, so I don't mind going too crazy on here. But yeah, there we go. Alright, time to let those just kind of stew away. As for these two, I'm going to do the same thing where let me just put a tiny bit on. You have to be a lot more, you can't be as liberal on the chips themselves. I really don't want it to be. Okay, so got a little bit on here, and then on here. This one just, again, bigger surface area. But there we go. Let's get that all cleaned up. Alright, so let me go ahead and hit these here. Just going to absorb as much as I can. Kind of clean it off. And then leave them on for too much because I don't want this to get everywhere. But it looks like it's fine. None of it came off the surface here. Alright. And let me clean these up. Alright, so that is looking, CPU is looking good, GPU, not happy with it. I mean, it's much cleaner than it was before, but I'm going to have to apply this a second time, which is normal, I would say. So, now let's just do that again here. Meanwhile, what we can do is try and clean up the heat sinks here. And should have waited a little bit more on this one. But whatever, it's a learning experience at the same time. So we got that. This one though, the GPU heatsink would probably mostly come off. I don't mind reapplying these if I need to. Actually, even better, it is almost all the way off. Hold on, I'm not happy with it yet. There we go. So the GPU heatsink is completely cleaned off at this point, so no more old paste. CPU though, it was just glomped on, so I'll just have to glomp on some liquid here. Easy enough. Alright, so I finally got this clean. It probably took 2 or 3 rounds here with the X GPU. But for the heat sinks here, I'm going to actually get rid of this. Get a clean paper towel. I put the purifier on there, which purifier, you just put it on, you let it sit there, and it makes sure to remove any sort of leftover residue from this stuff right here. Let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. This should be all good. There we go. I'm not really worried about this GPU here. Or, not GPU, the heatsink. Okay. And this is about the equivalent. Some people might be asking, oh, why don't you use, like, isopropyl alcohol, the rubbing alcohol with Goo Gone? I mean, you can use that as well, too. Thank you, Lily! Thanks! Thank you! Oh my god. She sees something outside. Anyways, what you have to do here is... You done? You done? We keep professional on the Mr. Mario 2011 channel, as you can tell. We keep it very professional. Yes, we keep it professional! Alright. So the reason why I use this, it's not a requirement, but I just prefer to use it because it's not all that much, and I've noticed when I was doing this to Xbox 360s, this just speeds up the process and it's not as messy. Like Goo-Gone, you're gonna have to do it more times, and it's also really, really, really oily. And then isopropyl alcohol, I mean, that's fine as well too. You can use that, but it's just, I prefer to use this compared to Goo-Gone. Like, use Goo-Gone if you have nothing else, but you really have to spend more time doing it. Alright, so for these, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put more purifier on the heat sinks. Alright, just do a second go at this. Make sure it's nice and clean. I'm just doing this here because I got some of the other goo, the remover, on the right side of that heatsink. And now just do the same thing to the dies on here. So, thank you. She sees something outside and is going crazy over it. But I'm going to hit the CPU here with just like 1 or 2 drops. Alright, there we go. And that will spread out and clean up. And then the X GPU, I'm also going to hit this as well too, with more because we're dealing with a bigger space here. But let's go ahead and just let that all clean up there, and we should be ready to rock here. Really, the longer you let this sit on, the cleaner everything is going to be. So while we're waiting, I'm going to take my dog outside because she's got to go to the bathroom and get dinner and all that stuff, which is why she's whining a little bit. Yes, you big baby, I'll take you out. Yes, yes, I'll take you out. I know. Alright, back here, just took the dog out, and let's go ahead and clean these up. So let's clean the GPU here. Everything's looking nice and shiny with that. And I made sure to, you know, get rid of all the gunk that was on the sides here as well too. So we're ready to rock on that. Cool. And let's also clean the CPU die. Also again, made sure all the junk has been cleared off of this. Alright, fantastic. Cleaned up. Looks like we're ready to go. And let me also clean up the heat sinks here, which should be good. Alright, there's that. That's done. And what about this guy? That's done as well. Alright. I let those dry up, but I think we're ready to rock on all this here. So, cool. One thing I did forget about this, because I haven't used it in a while, but I love about cleaning this stuff up, it makes the room smell lovely. That is if you like oranges. If you like oranges, my god, you're going to love cleaning up CPU and GPUs right here. But if you hate oranges, it's going to be a very bad time for you. Alright, so the way we're going to do this right here, we got the Arctic Silver 5, which, man, it's been a while since I've used this. I haven't done this in years, but we're going to need a huge surface for this, or a huge amount. So normally I'm used to putting, like, they say, you know, just put like a grain of rice on here. No. I looked it up. Recommendation for this one here, for the GPU, is about the size of a pea. So that's maybe a little more. I know it's also less is more, but that's about pea-shaped to me. You know, screw it. I want this to be nice and cool. I understand though, if you put way too much on, then it becomes counteractive. But it's like a weird pea shape, I guess. Let's go ahead. Have to put this on the same way here, and smush it down. Got that. And I think we're good there. So now I just need to pop this thing on, give it a little bit of tension. There's that. There is that. And yeah, that's it. Alright, so CPU is back on there. Lovely. So I got that. Let's go ahead, plug the fan in. Okay. And we're going to do, or GPU, excuse me, I keep goofing up on these two. It's also, this thing is moving around right now, and that's because, you know, it's fresh paste. But what I'll also do is get this, and this I'll be much more lenient on. Just about that much, literally like a grain of rice. That's really all you need. Okay. Looks like we're done there. And let me go ahead, get this thing all set up. So I got to rig this again. It's gonna go on this way, so let me just at least kind of move this to the side, get this figured out. There we go. Okay. So I'll put it on kind of like so. I'm gonna put this down here, and I'm gonna have to kind of push this thing down a bit. There we go. And done. Alright, so GPU, CPU have been repasted. I'll do some like cleaning on this thing as well too. Yeah. No, the last thing I can do is just really the fan. I could unscrew this and clean that out. I know people will yell at me if I don't do that, but also it's proper to do it. So let me go ahead, unscrew this, and we'll be good. Some people also might be asking, why didn't I take out the motherboard and do this? I really like having, you know, everything in the Xbox here, so I have a really nice, strong foundation, so nothing's like flexing or going crazy or whatever it is. And then also, you know, once I remove the motherboard, I can pull it via the heat sinks here, and it will all be fine. I'm not worried about it. Alright, so all those have been removed. Let's take this off, and yeah, that's definitely going to need a good cleaning, so let me get this cleaned up real quick. Alright, so what I'm about to do here is, now that we're all done, at least with the maintenance on that, let me also go ahead and check this off on my phone. I seriously did make a checklist for this, just to make sure I was doing everything. Alright, let's do all that. I'm going to now remove the motherboard from here. That's going to be the next step, so we'll have most of the chassis available, and then we can start taking off the front panel. So let's get around to doing that. Alright, so we should now be able to remove this. Did I get... No, I'm missing one. I'm missing one. It was just right underneath here where I was looking. Okay. And there we go. Perfect. I'll just remove the motherboard, put it on this box here, and there. We have easy access to everything. Now this is going to be the fun part. We're going to get to do something that I have never done before. In order to pop this off, let's see, it looks like there's a tab right there. But let me see. So I had to watch a video on this, but it looks like there is a tab here, a tab here, a tab here, and then we're going to have to pretty much kind of just not break it off, but just undo a few things on each side, and then pop these as we pull the thing forward. So I might actually have to flip this around. So let's get into it. Oh boy. Oh shit. Oh. Okay. There's part one. This is pretty much all loose on this end here. Now let's do this other part right here. Alright, so each of those is done. Now let me pop these tabs. Wow, that was actually way easier than I expected. I'm not even going to edit that. I thought I would have to speed up like 10 minutes of me just trying to struggle with this, but no, that was easy enough. Alright, cool. So we got that. I'll move this over here. Ta-da, that's what it's looking like. And now I need to remove this here. So let's figure out how to do it. Alright, so it looks like I was able to remove that piece there, but that still doesn't help me. I need to get to the actual logic board here. So, what are we doing? Oh, here we go. Alright, so I kind of had to release the latch right here. Just keep it in, and then push it in from the front. And we got to it. So there we go. Eject, power, LED, LED. Perfect. I had to do that because I'm quite sure that the ghost case is not going to have that. So awesome. That was a lot easier than I expected. So now we get to do the fun part. What I'm going to do is grab, let's move this all over. See this. And from what I see, there's limited instructions on this online, so I'm going to have to figure out what's what. But we now get to unbox the ghost case. Let's go ahead and get this done here. Good news. Lily, this is not food. The dog thinks it's food. And there's like a crinkling noise. She thinks it's food. Oh, she's going to think this is a box full of food. By the way, the reason why I got this as well too is because I looked and I was surprised. This was only 30 bucks on Amazon. They have others that are a little more expensive, like other colors, but I figured I'd just go with the ghost case here. Maybe in the future I might do something else that I don't know, but one person I was seeing what they did was, okay, one person I saw what they did was they actually took this and spray painted it white on the inside. It looked really cool. So, we got everything there. I'm going to get to use this box for my garbage. Just move this over. And we got the ghost case. Perfect. So, first off, I need to see what's going on with the, not the faceplate, but the front panel. Huh, that's weird. I swear I bought a case, but I can't see it. I don't know, maybe that joke would have worked out better if this was a camouflage case, but either way, let's see what we got here, what we're going to have to add. It doesn't look like I'll have to add too much on there. I do have several other pieces, though. I have a drive bezel. I have this to make the DVD drive all invisible. And I also have these ghostly eject and power buttons. Fantastic. Alright, so let's get this all set up on here. Alright, so we got that. We got all those punched in. And of course, yep, I was correct on here. We are going to have to transfer this over. So let me get to work on this, which here, from what I can tell, you know, this doesn't make me feel comfortable either. I don't want this to get all scratched up, so I'm actually going to I'll move these over. I'm going to place this on bubble wrap, so I'm not just like scratching this all up. There we go. Cool. So, oh, I'm not liking that too much. Hold on. Hold on. Did one of the pieces fall? Did one of the pieces break already? Oh man, it looks like it did. Okay. Had to push it back a bit, but it looks like here there was supposed to be, so there's kind of a piece that holds this up against the plastic, and there was supposed to be one right here. And I don't know if it broke off in transit or what, but I didn't break it off there, and I don't see it. But point is, on here, we can eject, we can press power. That's really all we need to do there. So let me go ahead and work on getting this reinstalled. Alright, so first I'm just going to have to feed this through. Okay. I just want to do this now so I don't have to worry about them later on. So this kind of just snaps to the front on each side. Let me make sure I have everything lined up correctly. Okay, that's snapped. And I need to get a snap on the right side. Okay. So there we go. Actually, that looks appropriate. So again, I can press the buttons, and that was a lot easier than I expected. kind of just showing you all right here. The way you need to do it is, now it's going to be a lot harder to see, but there's 1 tab, 2 tabs, 3 tabs, and then here, because it's a clear case, it actually makes it a lot easier. Also, the 3 tabs now is popping, and you just make sure those are popped back on each side, and that's it. So, fantastic. New one is fully installed and ready to rock. Now, next up, what I'm going to do here is, let me pop this thing back on. I'm just popping this on here so it doesn't get lost. Don't really need it at this point, but, oh, let me move this up. Okay, cool. Done, 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 done. Alright. Now for the DVD drive, I want to replace the bezel on this. So, oh, actually that does help if I do this here. Let's go ahead and remove it. Ow! Oof. Okay. Some skin came off, but no blood. We're good. No blood, Lily. No blood. Alright, so Xbox DVD bezel gone. Let me find this. Make sure this is lined up the correct way. Because I need to actually see this damn thing. Okay, yeah, no, this is... Oh, no, I'm bleeding a little bit. Oh, well. I guess we're going to have to get some blood on this. But, let me go ahead and grab this. I'm going to kind of line it up, if I can. Okay. DVD drive bezel is now done on there. Now the question is, do I want to get this set up? Which essentially what this does is you have to remove the top of the disk drive, and this kind of just sits right there, and you have to remove the magnet out of this, put it inside here, you snap this on, and then you have a crazy see-through drive. Why not? Seriously, why the hell not? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do this. So, got that. I didn't think, I completely forgot that this was a piece to it, but screw it, we're going to be taking apart a DVD drive here. Alright. I just need to remember how to do it with a Thompson. So, the reason why I keep bashing on this Thompson is because a few reasons. One of them is I had one growing up. It was not good. I was having a lot of disk read errors and everything with it. This was more relevant, you know, back in 2003, 2004, but these things would not play CDRs. Now, I did read, I have not confirmed this myself, it might be fun to try, but I did read from someone that apparently if you just did not finalize a CDR, it did work on a Thompson. But it's like, you know, for example, this is like back in the day when everyone was downloading music and burning it off. If you burned a CDR or you wanted to play it in your car or your stereo or whatever it was, it would work in everything else except for a Thompson drive, while as Samsungs were the best, and Hitachis were... I don't know the opinion of Hitachis, actually. I discussed this with a friend recently, and he was telling me that back in the heyday, if you wanted to get a new drive, it was even at the point where Samsungs were like $100, and at that point when Samsungs were $100, you can get Thompson for $10. Alright, cool. So we have that. Let me see how this is supposed to go on here. I really don't know. I'll clean this out a little bit as well too, just to get the nasty dust bunnies out of here. Alright, there's that. Oh, and actually, does this, well that wouldn't make, okay. But, oh, that makes so much more sense. I have to do it reverse. Alright, so that's actually pretty easy. So as you can see, this is how it works. Now, instead of having it like this, you remove it. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of this. And I'll tell you why. Because now at this point, the drive is completely exposed inside of the system. And most notably, the laser is going to be completely exposed. That's why I'm not too crazy about this drive mod. I'm going to do it, you know, just for completion's sake. And we also need to pop this thing out, which, how can we do it? How can we do it? Let's see. Screw it, we're not going to need this anymore. I might have to use some heat on this as well too, to get this all unstuck. But yeah, we have to rip the magnet out of here, pop it in here, and then close it all up, and we'll be ready to go. Let me also just like swab down that. I'll swab down that laser like right before we get everything done. Or I'll just like kind of move it over here. I just moved it on the side just so I could easily access that. But yeah. Oh, look. That's interesting. They got like rubber stoppers on here. I never noticed that. I never did. There we go. So you know what? I didn't even have to get the heat gun. There's the magnet right there. I didn't have to split this thing open. So that will not be needed anymore. And now, all I need to do is pop that on. As you can see, it stays like that. Take this thing. This is a little bit janky. I don't like that. It might be better, you know what? I'm going to do this separately. I don't want to, be putting all this force on the DVD drive itself. Okay. There we go. So the magnet is all stuck inside of here. Let me also clean this up a bit. And here. Okay, magnet is working. Let me go ahead and screw these two back in. So now we just need to work backwards. So here's one. And again, this is supposed to operate as our new cover for the drive. I've never done that before, and that was honestly pretty easy. So I don't want to give my final verdict on how good or bad this case is to install until everything is done here. The reason why I'm saying that is because I was actually a little bit intimidated to see how this was, and I was going to question the quality. But so far, it's not horrible, so awesome. Let me also get these two screws here, and then I'm going to clean up that laser. Here we go. Just need to screw these two in the back. This is just... Thompson, man, what were you doing? This is a really weird design, but oh well. Alright. Install that. And there. Slide this back in. Kind of just like so. If we need to do that. I kind of just want to keep it there for completion's sake, but that's all we need to do at that point. It might not be as... Even so, I'll be honest, it's not going to be as useful without the top part covering everything. We'll see. We'll see. I'll leave that to the end. But let me also clean this. Right, and yeah, that's looking pretty gnarly. So I'm happy I got to at least open this thing up. But clean that up. Let me clean around here too. There. Oh God, that's disgusting. Alright. This was a good idea. I'm not saying that sarcastically, like this was a good idea. That was white, okay? That was white. Alright, so that's done. Let me move the drive over somewhere. Just kind of move it right there. And now it looks like I lost a plastic piece of some kind. So again, just be careful with the quality here. We'll see if we have to really be wary of that or not. But let's go ahead and move on. See what else we need to do. So now let's get back to work on the console here. What I'm going to do is I will take our cleaned up fresh motherboard. Not really a fresh motherboard, but at least I've given new life to it. Pop this in. We're going to screw this in. Put the power supply in there. Get everything set up, for the controllers and everything. And next we're going to have to start upgrading the IDE cable to prepare this for our SATA drive. So, time to just work backwards mostly at this case, at this point, and do some slight modifications here and there, which shouldn't be too hard. next up what I will be doing is I'm going to... Alright, so now that I have everything at least wired up and, screwed in here, we need to work on getting the IDE cable all set up and rigged up and ready to go. So it looks like this goes in, right, or let me see which way it goes. Nah, this goes in this way. Doesn't really matter, but just kind of, the way it's bent, that just makes it easier. So that's going to be for the DVD drive. First, I'm just going to make sure that all this works right now. So, not going to care about how it looks or anything like that, but what I'll do is hook this up here. Alright. And by the way, this is my 80-pin IDE cable that we're going to be hooking up. DVD drive. That's what I was looking for. Alright. And again, don't really care about how this looks right now, but I just want to hook it up to the TV, test it, make sure everything turns on and works. And the cable should be fine, and the hard drive will be okay as well too, because I'm just going to use the hard drive that I was already using on this console. So, let me just kind of try to, even if, I just hook it up, even though I just bench it like this, like have everything crooked, it's going to be okay. And then disk drive, or not disk, well, other disk drive technically. And this thing right here, the other end of the IDE cable. Let me plug this up. And that was more difficult than it needed to be because IDE, but let's make sure this all works. And I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to be careful to not look at the laser here. Alright, I'm going to go off screen and test this and make sure that this is all working. Alright, so I have the old cable in right now, but I just hooked up everything. We're going to make sure that this works at least. Want to make sure everything is working as is right now. So, if we turn this thing on, as you can see, disk is spinning up. 250 gig hard drive is still in there. Then, if we come up here, I'll even show you all the custom BIOS. It's being rocked here. Once it reads, there we go. Executor rocks my box, and as you all saw, there is no physical chip inside of it. And the game is loading, so fantastic. Let me go ahead and just pop this thing out. And that's it. So now we need to make sure that everything is working properly here. What I'm actually going to do first, I'm going to put in the upgraded IDE cable and ensure that we're ready to rock with that. Alright, so we have the disk drive out, the hard drive out. The reason why I'm doing this also is I actually was trying this cable, and maybe I just didn't fold it properly or whatever. I kind of just popped it in, tried everything, and I was having an issue where the disk drive kept checking. That was it. So the BIOS boot up was extremely slow, and of course I couldn't play any games with it. But I popped this in, it seemed to be working fine, but I was also missing the black bracket for the DVD drive. Was that messing something up? I have no idea, but let's just try this one piece at a time. So I do have a guide on here I'm pulling up, and I'm going to be looking over how to get this all folded. Alright, so have not run into this before because I just kind of honestly skipped out on IDE growing up. But this IDE cable, faulty. First time I tried it, the footage I show where I was folding it, that was like the first time I actually tried to fold it. When I just hooked it all up, it wasn't working. The 40 pin works, this one didn't. Tried folding this one, didn't work. Partially folded this one right here, so I opened up a second one and it booted just fine. So trash IDE cable, it's in the trash where it's supposed to go. What I'm going to do is let me unhook this right here. I know this cable works for sure now, and now we're going to swap out the hard drive. So we just get this thing unplugged. There we go. And cool. Now I will show you all the hard drive I'm using. This already has all the Xbox files and the stuff that I need, so I'm not too worried about it not working. I know for a fact it works is what I'm saying. So it is a 1 terabyte SATA hard drive. This thing I was actually using in my main system, so just kind of a fun thing that was going on here. Let me first just find the appropriate screws. And thankfully the disk drive is working. I thought the disk drive might have died or gone bunk or something, but no, the disk drive is working just fine, even for a Thompson. But hey, what's up, Lily? So what ended up happening was I had this in my main system, which is a 1.2 TSOT flash system. And I decided to get a Halo Xbox, but that Halo Xbox was a 1.6, so I wanted to use the Halo Xbox, but I didn't want to use the actual console itself, so I just decided to do a case swap, a case swap on them. The Halo system is now my 1.2 Xbox that's TSOT flashed, and that one I actually end up upgrading to a 2 terabyte because that's going to be, I've always wanted a Halo console, like the green Halo console, so that's why I, decided to go all out on that one. Honestly, I don't even need the terabyte. I got this because I have several hundred gigabytes worth of games, and I still pick up new Xbox games, so this will definitely do enough for me. But the highest that the Xbox can handle is 2 terabytes, which is why I decided to go with a 2 terabyte drive. I said, you know what, this is the console I wanted, this is the console I want to use. I might as well just max it out and go 2 terabytes, why the hell not? So we went with it on that. That seems to be okay. And then this system I'm also going to be keeping, but this one I want to, the setup I have, I just want this to be, my other pretty customized looking system. But I have this be a backup that also has all of my games on it as well too. So chances are we probably won't even need to do any configuration because everything's going to be on the hard drive here already, and since both systems have been, since it came out of a hard modded system, it's going into another hard modded system, we're not going to have to worry, what am I doing? We're not going to have to worry about, configuration issues or whatever. So now we get to use this thing. Let me pull it out. This is our SATA, well, IDE to SATA adapter. So just got to plug this into the back here, like so. And I'm going to get this all wired up and set up here. We're getting close to the end, at least for the console setup itself. Alright, there we go. So not the best job on that, but we were at least able to get this all set up here. Let me plug this in, if I'm able to. There we go. Alrighty. So there. Cable's set up, hard drive's plugged in, screwed in as well too, should be ready to go. Let's try this out on the TV now. Alright, so got the console here at least set up with what we need it to be. I'm going to turn the thing on. As you can see, there is now a red LED back there, lasers going red, and the boot process does take a little bit longer just because it is a SATA drive. However, if we wait a little bit, I've optioned it, so just watch this. Let's wait a few seconds. Just trying to scratch my dog's head here at the same time. It turns orange because I changed that in the dashboard settings, so once the dashboard loads up, it will change that LED color. And if we look up here, as you can see, it's all working. So we're good on that. I'm happy about that. Very happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing off and let's finish the rest of the cosmetics on here. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do here is at least hook up the light. So I have some green LED lights that I decided to grab. Just decided to go with a green and clear and red color, I guess, I'm not sure, but there's a heat cell on this side, so it looks like it's going to stick to the bottom of the jewel. I'm not going to be clearing the jewel, just forewarning on that. Decided that that'd be, a little too much effort right now than what I wanted to put into, I'll be honest. I can go back and do it, but I'm just not doing it right now, at least. What is it, Lily? Let's go ahead and get this all undone here, if I can. I'm gonna have to unhook this from the IDE. There we go. Alright. Pull this apart. So this looks like it should be easy enough, although I need to figure out where we're going to be putting everything on here. So probably going to be doing something like this. I want to get the placements down on everything. Yeah, that's actually not going to work. Okay. Well, it could, maybe. I think it's because it's just this is much smaller, and it was designed for that specifically, so I don't even know if we're going to be able to get the LED in here, but we'll see if we can rig and figure something out. Actually, it looks like it is able to fit up in there. If I do that, kind of just do it like so. And then we'll have to see where we can fit everything here. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other way I can do this, and I'm not seeing another method of being able to do this here without, you know, going in and splicing a bunch of wiring, but I kind of want to keep this all as is just to see how this is from a all stock perspective. Kind of do this and kind of move it in here like so. Alright, so we got like a little pocket there. I'm going to have to finagle with the IDE cable itself, and then this can just go wherever. What I'm going to do at least here is, first let me install this, so I have everything hooked up. It's not how it's supposed to look, but let me at least test this and make sure it looks like it. I want the lights to come on is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I did test it off screen. Good news is it does work. Bad news is they're blue. Like, what the hell? They're blue. Okay. I guess the green ones were cheaper, and I did pay for the green ones, so I ended up getting a upgrade, which was nice. But at the same time, I also bought green, not because it was like $1 or $2 cheaper. I bought it because I wanted green. So that's a tad bit annoying, but we'll work with it. It's fine. So we have that at least all hooked up there. And now we get to transfer the Joule. So we're going to work on getting the Joule off the system. So let me move this system over to the side here. And I need to go to the freezer. Okay, so that's kind of disappointing. I lost a bit of footage there. Don't know what happened, but I ended up putting the Xbox right here, and I just have to explain it to you all, unfortunately. Like, I was able to get it, but what happens with this process, if you want to try it, it does work. If you ever want to remove the Joule easily, pop this in the freezer. On Web 9, they recommend at least 30 minutes. I put it in there for 2 hours, but the Joule was right there. I literally just turned the case over and hit this like, I hit it like that, and on the 4th try, the Joule popped out. Clean as that. As you can see, I mean, it has moisture and everything on it because it's now, you know, adjusting to the 75-degree weather in here, coming from the freezer. But no joke, man, that works. That works. Freeze the top of your Xbox case and then hit the middle of it once it's frozen or cold enough, and you'll get the Joule. Crazy. Alright. So now we can finally see what we've been wanting to mess with this entire time. And that whole process, I mean, aside from that process removing the Joule took like a minute. That's awesome. I really can't praise that enough. That's a really funny method right there. You don't have to mess with the heat gun, you don't have to mess with the hair dryer, nothing like that. Alright, and here we go. And I need to figure out which is the... Okay, this is the front side, is what it looks like. This is going to be the front side. And we need to transfer this over. So, just to make sure, I really only want to do this one time. Well, that doesn't really help me all that much. Okay. Actually, no. Okay, so that's supposed to be there. And, yeah, okay. So that's the back of the Xbox, it's the front of the Xbox. And I just want to transfer this Joule over. So, kind of just take it right here, pop it on, and we're done with the Joule transplant. Now, big thank you to Dark Gabs on that. He has messed with the Joule before on his console. And I was asking, because I said, hey, I want to do a Joule transplant and just, you know, swap it out and everything. And I asked about sticking it. And he was like, oh, no, if you're going to do that, the adhesive on the back is still good enough. Just literally plop it on and you'll be good to go. Although, if you do clear it out, which like you pretty much have to scrape all the black stuff we saw at the bottom, you have to scrape that off, and then you have to use Brasso so the Xbox logo stays there, but the green goes away. If you do that, you do have to use something like not super glue. I guess you can use that. You have to use an adhesive of some kind. A lot of people recommend just like tiny dabs of hot glue. I didn't really want to use hot glue, so that's why I was asking about it. But no, that's done. Awesome, that is done. And at a later date, if I want to, I could just do the exact same thing here, where I could, you know, pop this off, unfreeze it, and everything. So if I'm going to, I've thought of this. I looked it up. There is, I'm going to show you all. There's this metal shielding right here, and this is more for like grounding your system and everything. I'm going to keep this for a bit, because I'll tell you all what this is for, because a lot of people take these off who like mod their consoles and they don't do anything else with them. This is for like RF shielding and like electronic interference and all that. In short, a lot of times this can clear up some interference. Like let's say you're playing a game and you just like, you're hearing like a staticky noise, or you're just seeing a lot of noise on your TV. It could be that there's not a proper shielding there. So this is supposed to help with that. Now, a lot of the times you can take it off and it's okay. But sometimes you are going to have issues. It's going to depend on your environment, on your setup, all that stuff. Right now, because I mean we're going to be using the clear case, I'm going to keep it off. But I will keep this original case on hand, because if it becomes an issue, I can slap it on there. I do know of one system where it has caused issues. My friend Daniel, aka Modbot, aka DopeZone930, he ended up, yeah, that's all there. What he ended up doing was he modified his Xbox One. Not an original Xbox, like an Xbox One, and he took off the shielding and did a bunch of cutouts and everything, and because of that, he was using wireless controllers and he wasn't able to move very far. Like, he had to be like this close with his controller, and if he moved any further, it would disconnect. I don't know if that was an issue with the shielding, or because I feel like a lot of people who've modded, like case modded their Xbox Ones won't have that issue. So I don't really know what happened there. But point is, on here, let's try and get the rest of this all figured out. So I'm glad that we have that done. Transfer the jewel. Now last thing we need to do is replace the top of the case and close this thing up, and we will have our modified system. Again, I also, if this was a more solid, if this wasn't a see-through case, I would transfer over that shield, but because this is see-through and that's see-through and all this other stuff, and we're going to put the LED in, it's going to defeat the design purpose, at least, if I put that shielding in there. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to pop the screws back in. That should be one of the first things I should do. Alright, so all the screws are back in. Let me make sure that's folded up properly. Cool. And now we're going to have to figure this whole thing out. Let me just move this away. Alright. And best way of doing this. Maybe just put it right here. Move this in. Do it like that. Actually, that should work out just fine. Alright, so we've kind of slipstreamed it all in there. Okay, cool. And now what I want to do is I want to remove the adhesive off here and stick it to the bottom of the jewel on the Xbox. Don't touch the laser, please. Thank you. Alright, so unfortunate news. I really just assumed that there was going to be adhesive on here, but there is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on here like so. And I guess I can kind of just put some hot glue like underneath. And yeah, no, we're going to have to resort to hot glue for this, unfortunately. If I can avoid using hot glue, I do, but in this case, might be our better option to do so, because if I ever need to adjust or remove it, totally can. Now just the question is, I guess I could just, because I want it to be up right there, I'm going to just kind of do a little bit on each side. So let me test this out, make sure it all works. Okay, in there. Now, I'll be the first to admit I am not good with a glue gun at all. Like, I think part of it has to be an art, I guess, and I'm not an artistic person, I'll tell you that, but I just want enough on there so that it actually stays and it's not going to, you know, move around and go crazy and all that stuff. So, not the best job by any means, but at least it's just LEDs there, so I think we'll be good. Let me unplug the glue gun. So we're not going to use that. I really didn't want to use a glue gun, but oh well. And there, at least it's sticking. At least it is sticking. So, now we need to get all of this figured out here. So with that, let me make sure everything's looking okay. Alright, so now to get all this stuff hooked up properly, there we're going to have power going again. I'm going to need to do this here, get this hooked up so everything has power, everything has data. Alright, and there we go. Okay. My only other concern is I'm not sure about the cable, where to put this. I think this is why I kind of wondered this as well too. But at least this all goes down easily enough. I'm going to make sure that's not being pinched there. So I really don't feel like getting that cable pinched and fixing it up. Just really don't feel like doing that today. Oh well. We got all that. I might kind of shorten it and hide it a bit in here. I thought of actually just kind of running it next to the hard drive, which I might need to do. So if I'm gonna do that, let me unplug this thing. Alright. And can it fit? Yes, it can. Alright. So again, I kind of just want to stealth it a bit, if at all possible. And yeah, that would not show if we just kind of put it like that. Hopefully it'll be okay. Alright. Again, we're going to have the wires showing, but that's just kind of going to be a fact of life with this, unfortunately. Okay. And oh, this is actually the nice thing. Now I can actually see and make sure it's lining up with all the screw holes here. So now, I get to kind of press down on everything. That clicked. That's not really wanting to click, but what's going on here? That seems to be fine. So it's just this corner, which seems to have an issue. There we go. All right. Cool. We have everything set up. So before I completely screw this all together, let me go ahead and test this one last time. Alright, so as you can see, this is the Xbox right here. This is how it's looking like in the end. I'll kind of, come up here a little bit. You can see the hard drive, you can see the IDE cable, you can see all the work on that. And I guess, if you want to look cool, go ahead, open this up. Thankfully, drive open and closes just fine. And there we go. So I mean, that's like the coolest looking part, at least to me. I will not lie though, I'm pretty disappointed in the LEDs. I was expecting something a bit brighter, really. I mean, it's cute. Like, let me turn off the lights real quick so you can see this in the dark optimally. So as you can see, in like a pretty much pitch black room, this is about all you're gonna get, which, I mean, it looks cool. I'm sure if I cleared the jewel, it would look a bit better, but even so, I was just expecting brighter lights overall. I'll be honest about that. I will say the LED kit, I feel like, was definitely overpriced. It was about $9 or $10 if I remember correctly. The reason why I did get it as opposed to just doing my own LEDs everywhere is because Mainly, I was just genuinely curious to see how this would be, and then on top of everything as well too, I wanted to show it from a just straight up consumer perspective. So, for example, if you were interested in buying this case or getting the LEDs or anything, this is how it would look like. Just straight up, if you installed it, this is how it would look like if you put it underneath the jewel right there. I guess I could, like... Problem is, too, since it's just a circular disc, like, if I put it anywhere else, it's just going to look kind of weird, so... it would look cool if I put it right there, but... I'm not sure. I guess it could maybe go right there. I don't know. I need to figure that out. That's not a bad idea, though. Hold on, let's see if we could do that. Alright, so this is going to be take 2. I've removed it. It was easy enough to remove the hot glue, thankfully. But I've removed it from the case itself, and, well, from the top part. And I'll just kind of put this right here. Hopefully, this will look okay. I'm sure it'll look better than if it did just underneath, you know, a jewel that hasn't been cleared. Let's go ahead and try, at least, to get this all sorted. I'm actually going to move it kind of this way here. There we go. Alright. And again, I just kind of want to use this sparingly. I really don't feel like using it all over the system. Just don't like seeing that. That's a personal preference, more or less. Alright, so I at least have that all hot glued and set up. That's the only thing I really don't like about this, man. That's the only thing I really don't like about this. Let me try and run the cable through here again, if possible, which it definitely should be possible, but let me just do all this, kind of run it like that. Alright, that should be fine enough. There we go. That's all done up right there. Everything is all powered, hooked up, again, ready to rock. So, I want to put the case on. Okay. And it's not, yeah, it's not terrible, at least. It's alright. It's not optimal, but it's not terrible at the same time. And let's try this out one more time. Alright, and we have the system right here again. As you can see, it's not failed out. The reason why it's doing that is because I don't have a AV cable plugged in. That's how it's looking. I'll be honest, that's kind of blinding. This is also, again, why I would have preferred green. It's just blue LEDs can be really harsh, so it would have been nice to have green. But I'll also show this to you with the lights off. Alright, and let me go ahead, turn this thing on. And yeah, no, it's enough to light up a room just from that little bit right there. But at least, I don't know, the lights are kind of dispersed a bit now. I mean, you have the ones in the front, you have these ones on the left, and you have that demon-looking one on the right over there. So it's not bad. This is better than what I had before, at least in my opinion, like when it was underneath here. But I still think the optimal way would probably be to clear the jewel. I just don't have any brasso, and I don't feel like clearing the jewel and all that stuff right now. So that's why I'm not doing it. But that is it. That is it when it comes to this thing. Let me finish putting in the final screws, because I don't have the 6 black screws in there yet, and then we can call this thing done. Alright, so here we go. We have the finished product, and I'll give you my verdict over the case itself. So going over what we did, you know, of course the Xbox was already hard-bodied. I ended up installing the 1TB SATA drive, had to upgrade the IDE cable that you can all see right here. I had to put in the adapter, put in that blue, it was supposed to be green, but put in the blue LED kit, and then of course installed the case right here with the front panel and the disk drive attachment, and also the see-through disk drive. So you know, it's alright so far, I'll say that. At least the LEDs add some oomph, and honestly to me that doesn't look terrible. It looks okay at best, but you know, oh well. It's just so bright for what it is. That's kind of the annoying thing. I wish it just wasn't as harsh, which is why I wanted to get green, but whatever. The see-through disk drive is a nice touch, and then, you know, everything else, it all blends pretty well, I feel like. So For this case being only $30, can I recommend it? Yeah, I definitely can. You know, it's no XCM case, it's no professional case that had come out during the original Xbox's era, but we're really never going to get those again, unfortunately. I mean, the original Xbox is just... Holy shit! Okay, hold on, I gotta change that. That wasn't even scripted, guys. That honestly was not scripted. This kind of just broke off right there. Hold on, I'm gonna have to ease back on the tension a little bit. Okay. Okay, hold on. Alright, so this is not nearly on the same quality of the original Xbox case, which, I mean, duh, that's expected, but damn. What I can recommend is when you put the screws in, do not tighten them super tight. I mean, just when they stop, stop. I like to tighten them a little bit more, and I've never had an issue with it. But you all saw, I swear that was not scripted. It just cracked right there. It looks like none of the rest of the case is damaged, so, you know, it's not going to be the best quality, but it's alright. For something that you can get in 2018 right now, for something as old as the original Xbox, and only for 30 bucks. Brand new, again, brand new, 30 bucks from Amazon. It's not a bad deal. I have a link down below to it in the description and all that fun stuff. The other things that I did remove, you know, it doesn't come with a jewel, so if you want that, I'm sure you do, you're going to have to transfer that over from another system. You're going to have to take the magnet out, so you will have to do some surgery to your DVD drive. On top of that, I don't think there's anything... There wasn't anything from the front panel here that I needed, so that was good. Oh, and this. I mean, this is mostly just for Thompson drive, so I decided to keep this off just because it's not going to look as nice if I kept it on, honestly. So the case, I mean, it wasn't hard to put on, in my opinion. I thought it was going to be really difficult, but no. There were little things that were breaking off here and there, and of course we saw that, but be careful with the case. Be careful with the screws, and when it comes to installation, I'll say this, the installation was a breeze. Like, it doesn't come with any instructions, but if you know how to take apart an Xbox, just work backwards, and you'll be good to go on that. So, still, despite that happening, that was kind of spooky. For 30 bucks, I'm pretty pleased with it. The LED, though, I wouldn't really recommend that. That's $10, just do it yourself or something like that. I wanted to try it just to see how it was, but yeah, no, $10, that's definitely overpriced, which I did expect, but the case... Not bad. Not as bad as everyone said. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would very much be appreciated. If you absolutely hated it, a dislike's fine as well, too.